even asked some questions about the nature of the Upayas. And so he did some research on this and he found some very interesting things for us. And I think he's going to share those with us. Would you tell us what that is, George?
He was asking, are the Upayas, are they just practices or are they actually states of consciousness? And there was a very interesting audio of an interview of John and our scholar friend with Swamiji. Very rarely did Swamiji actually do anything outside of reading the text. But this was a free-for-all of asking any questions you wanted. And there was a brilliant section on the Upayas. And this chart sort of summarizes that in Anavapaya, which is called Kriyapaya, which we know is breath, the state, when you're established in the fullness of Anavapaya, the state is indicated by Nimilana Samadhi. And that's, Nimilana means with eyes closed, but it means internal Samadhi, where you're just sitting in silence, or the state of Turiya. And from there you can move to practices of Shaktopaya, which we know is called Jnanopaya, the Sanskrit name. And the main practice there is maintaining the junction, because you've already entered in that. And the full state, when a person reaches the fullness of Shaktopaya, they experience Unmilana Samadhi. That means that they can have Samadhi with eyes open. And the experience of that is the rise of Chit Kundalini. Swamiji will cover all of this in the lecture, but it'll be good if we have a little background. Then Shambhavapaya, which is called Ichopaya, which is the where you just will to be in that state and you have that's in the practice. It is the rise, what Swamiji calls it, the rise of Unmilana Samadhi, which culminates in the state of Krama Mudra, where the yogi is going from internal to external state and merging those two. And of course, he says in this, Anupaya is no upaya, there's no practice. And the fullness of that is Jagadananda, the bliss of Jagat, the bliss of the universe. So we can this is just a little 8-minute clip of questions back and forward, but Swamiji really clarifying these states and the practices of the Upayas.
So the state of each Upaya, Anava-upaya, Shaktopaya, and Shambhava-upaya is a more complete state. The end of Anava-upaya
is the beginning of Shaktopaya. But the end of Shaktopaya is the beginning of Shambhovapaya. The end of Shambhovapaya is the rise of Unmilana Samadhi.
But in the Kundalini, experience of Kundalini, or I mean the experience of Samadhi in Anava-upaya, there is a Samadhi in Anava-upaya, is there not?
Yes.
And there's also Samadhi in Shaktopaya.
Yes.
Is it the same Samadhi?
It's not same.
What is Samadhi in Anava-upaya, which signals completeness of Anava-upaya?
But these states are automatic. The journey, the path of Anuvapaya is different, and the state of Anuvapaya is different.
The journeys are one thing, the states are another thing.
Yes, journey is more. I mean, it takes time.
Yes, but what is sign of completeness of Anuvapaya? What is the experience which means that sadhaka has
Must to reach state of Anuvapaya.
What is that state?
That is Turiya.
But how is Turiya experienced there? Not as Nimilana Samadhi.
It is beginning of Nimilana Samadhi. When it enters breath in central vein, when the breath is sucked by practicing Anuvapaya, breath is sucked. That is the state of Anuvapaya.
What happens when this breath is sucked?
Then from Muladhara it rises again. That is state of Shaktopaya. And when it goes down and in, out, yes. That is the state of Shambhovapaya. It is automatic. These states occur automatically in one instant.
Yes.
There.
Yes.
States have no gap. Anuvapaya journey is long. Shaktopaya journey is long.
But from
Shambhovapaya journey is long. Not states. States are one by one experienced at once in one instant.
But if Anuvapaya state is the sucking down of the breath, Shaktopaya state is the rising of that of
Yes.
the chit kundalini,
Yes.
then there's no space in that description for practice of Shaktopaya in between fullness of
But
Anuvapaya.
practice is over. Practice is not there. It is state.
in
Then time will
Shaktopaya.
come, he will get the state of Anuvapaya. If Anuvapaya he has practiced fully, completely, then he will go automatically in
Yes, that-
Shaktopaya and
Then I
Shambhopaya too.
understand, but how does sadhaka go from Anuvapaya practice to Shaktopaya practice?
When he enters in that state. If your practice is slow and sluggish and not with full devotion done in Anuvapaya, then it will be sucked only and you will come out. When you only practice Anuvapaya in full devotion, then you will go to Shambhava state too.
But if a sadhaka was practicing Shaktopaya, this would have to mean then that he had not attained fullness in Anuvapaya. He'd attained proficiency, but not fullness.
Not fullness.
Because if he'd attained fullness, he'd have gone through Shaktopaya state. He would be already in Shaktopaya.
Yes. So in state of
In
Shaktopaya.
Shaktopaya.
Once he has attained state of Shaktopaya, he can practice Shaktopaya.
And when he is in Shaktopaya, if he's on Shaktopaya practice, that means he has not yet experienced fully that state of Nirmila Samadhi. Correct? Now, when he experiences that state for the first time,
Which state?
of Nirmilana Samadhi, Shaktopaya state,
Yes.
when he experiences
Then he is worthy of doing practice of Shaktopaya.
yes.
He can do it very easily then.
Now,
Because practice is to be done for maintaining these states. These states are not done. They come.
now when yogi experiences Nirmilana Samadhi, when he is doing Shaktopaya practice, does he experience all those 6 anandas?
No.
That long process? No.
No.
He only experiences that if he is reaching
No.
fullness in Anuvapaya.
Anuvapaya, yes.
It's only then that he experiences that long process. Yes,
He will
they-
begin with Chit Kundalini. If he develops only Shaktopaya practice.
Yes.
He won't start in sucking breath.
Breath.
No sucking breath.
Then how does he experience rise of Kundalini?
That is what I am going to tell you. When you are developing Anuvapaya fully,
Yes.
then the state begins from sucking the breath inside your central vein.
Yes.
And after you have experienced Shaktopaya state in that,
Yes.
Hmm?
Yes.
and Shambhopaya also,
Yes.
state of Shambhopaya too, then your master tells you, don't practice Anuvapaya now, practice Shaktopaya now for developing more awareness. So he practices Shaktopaya.
But he's already experienced Shambhopaya.
He has experienced.
So why is he practicing Shaktopaya now?
To get it fully,
To get it fully. Now it's coming clear now.
Hmm?
Yes.
then he practices Shaktopaya,
Yes.
and time comes when the state also is to come now. But state begins the rise of Kundalini, not the sucking of breath. Sipping is not experienced in that state.
But if he doesn't experience fullness of Anuvapaya, he cannot go on to Shaktopaya. If he
No,
doesn't
no,
experience Shambhopaya
never,
in
never.
Anuvapaya.
And once he has developed this kind of state of Shaktopaya and goes to Unmilana Samadhi also, then he comes down
Yes.
in Jagrat again,
Yes.
and master tells him to practice on Shambhopaya now.
But he's already experienced Unmilana even in Anuvapaya.
Yes,
Now what is that state there? It's not so great as
this
later on.
is also great, but it is not permanent. It is not permanent.
But he experienced Kramamudra there.
Yes, he experienced that too. Karmodra is experienced. Everything is experienced by Anuvapaya also.
That makes it clear.
Then master tells you to practice Shambhopaya now.
Yes.
When you practice Shambhopaya and the time comes for its state,
Yes.
what happens? The sucking of breath doesn't take place at all, and rising of Kundalini doesn't take place at all. Only Kramamudra takes place at once. The breath is choked at once, and Kramamudra is functioning.
Where does breath go?
Finished.
It stops.
Doesn't go
By
down,
the-
doesn't
no,
go anywhere.
No. It is automatic. It is state. It's not to be done. Choking comes, was finished, his breath is over, and Kramamudra takes place. That is the fruit of Shambhopaya, practice of Shambhopaya.
And then what happens in Anupaya?
Anupaya is no upaya.
He doesn't do anything.
He's complete. He's always drowsy. Just like me. So everything is complete. Anupaya is complete. It will make you reach to its completion.
Yes.
To Jagatananda state.
Yes.
Shaktopaya also.
But only weak form of Jagadananda. Only weak form in the first place, not
Yes.
permanent.
It's not permanent.
To make that permanent, he must go in Shaktopaya,
Yes.
tread that path, and eventually tread path of Shambhavapaya.
Even after having experiences, you've got to practice it in different forms too. Perfect.
Practicing is done throughout your life.
For that Jivan Mukti who's in Anupaya, who's in that state of Jagadananda, does he do practice also still?
He is in practice.
Everything is practice for him.
Yes.
नमस्ते रुद्र रूपेभ्य घोरेभ्यो तु घोरेभ्यो घोर घोर तनि बिच सर्वदा सर्व सर्वे